Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. I want to welcome you all yet again to our members area, video number 8 of 10 for July. So, before I introduce my next guest, I just want to give a big shout out to Tom at Applied Nutrition for this stuff here that helps me train better. Back in the 90s, I once tried a pre-workout drink, and it was called Ultimate Orange. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever had it. I've never trained as hard in my life, and played a 90-minute football match after training. And we're up all night and all the next day. So you can go on forever with this kind of stuff. But this stuff here, the best drink I've had as regards giving you that bit of a boost. I don't know if it's illegal. Can't be, because it looks like you're going to have a can, but there's no fat in it. And
I thought the ABE one was bad. That pre-workout.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. Oh God. Mickey didn't dare have any more.
Yeah. So I just want to say thanks to Tom at Applied Nutrition, and it's helping me train and getting in proper shape now. If you train every day, you put the effort in, and you're consistent, you'll get the rewards. Right. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment, and all you will join the members here. Right. Today I'm joined by Max, aka Mad Max with the Volvo, aka the man with a heart of a fucking breadcrumb. How are you doing, Max?
Where's that come from? Where's the heart from the breadcrumb? You're adding it on.
Mate, I can tell by talking to you, you've got the fucking heart of a breadcrumb.
We'll soon see, Porkster.
We'll soon see when Shane Fury's punching you upside down.
Yeah. We'll soon see when he bottles it.
When he bottles it. Okay. A lot's gone on in boxing in the last week. I mean, the landscape's always changing. It's changing by the day. So, what I want to say to you, Max, what I want to ask you is, what's your take on the old Tyson Fury COVID stories that are going around? Because people are saying it's a load of old cobblers. And like I said to you before, and I'll say it again, Tyson's the boy who cried wolf, and when anything does genuine happen in his life now, nobody's going to believe it anyway, because like I said to you before, and I'll say it again, once you've told a lie, anything else you say, it's no good, is it?
It's a good rule to go by. Yeah, Tyson Fury. The thing is with Tyson Fury is that it's a current trend and pattern, isn't it? You know, when obviously he was going to fight Vladimir again, he didn't want it, did he? I mean, it's not like he's scared, but he's what do you want to call it? He gets stubborn and he doesn't want to do it, and obviously relinquishing his belts. We're starting to see the same sort of pattern with him and Wilder. He didn't want the Wilder fight. He wanted Joshua, and you know, I think what it was is he was being partying too hard in Vegas. He needed more time because Wilder is serious, very serious stuff. He wants revenge. You know, so I think he needed more time, and I think this benefits Tyson more than Wilder delaying it. Because I don't know what more Wilder can add to his game, but I think just from the fit aspect and being fit for 12 rounds, because let's be honest, when he fights and he doesn't take the opponent out, he can rely on his irking and jerking sort of style. So, what do you think, Russ?
I don't think he'll fight again, mate. No, I don't think he'll fight again. No, I think he probably just needs a break. And you can't keep this up, what he's done for the last 3 years. Not mentally strong enough to keep it up. I mean, look, it's maybe his brain's maybe had overload, and that's what you can do to you being in public eye. And let's have it right. They play media game, don't they? He does, doesn't he? He plays the media game to a T. But how much longer can he keep it up with? Because it's something every day, isn't it? Every single day. day in, day out, and it takes its toll sooner or later on you. Trust me. And I just don't think he'll fight again.
Do you think it will get to, let's say, maybe September? You just say, you know what, wrap it in, or do you think it'd be like a couple of weeks before the fight or something?
If you had 100 million in bank, right? Say you got 100 million bank, right? Or you're worth 100 mil, and you're going to face this guy that can really, really seriously put some serious hurt on you. Why would you want to do that when you've beat him? When you say you've beaten him twice already? Well, first fight, you can maybe say won by a round, but they give it a draw. Second one, knocked him out, didn't he? So why does he need to go and do that again? I mean, it's only for promoters and managers and politics that are making it happen, and he maybe just wants to take back charge of the situation and maybe hope the landscape changes. A bit like when he didn't fight Vladimir the second time, he probably just said fuck it and wanted to just take a break from boxing, and eventually the landscape changed, didn't it? And he came back. Maybe he just needs another break. Maybe he wants to go back to being Tyson Fury. Maybe he wants to go out and just get bladdered all the time and just have a bit of fun. Because sometimes it's not funny. It don't look like he's having any fun. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I do think, I'll tell you what, Russ, if he does retire, and the problem is with Tyson, it's not when he goes out, and the problem is with Tyson, you know, once he goes out, it's like addictive personality. Once you fall like a floor, you fall like several floors with him. And once he's off that route, I don't think there'd be no coming back with him. I think because the last time, well, I mean, 10 stone, you know, Bucky, it's a lot of weight to lose, and he can't keep doing that. He's getting older.
If he did lose 10 stone, I don't believe it was 10 stone. I mean, some people are saying 11, aren't they? And you know, things get added on. Look, he was knocking 8 stone off all the time when he was Peter 7, 8 stone and that. And I think it's probably it might have just been that. I don't think it was 10 stone. I think there's a lot of these things that it's like driving a Ferrari at a wall. That story 160 mile an hour, and then towards the end they were telling the story like 195 mile an hour. You know, the myth just gets bigger and bigger, doesn't it? So, like I said, I don't believe any of that. I don't believe any of mental health stuff either. I know things that other people don't know. I don't believe it all. I never bought into all that. The public did. I didn't, and a lot of people who I know didn't buy into it. But that's up to them, isn't it? You know, they work the ticket.
And the charity money going to NHS.
Bollocks. He should have had a 12-year ban. Free drug tests. A failure, a refusal. A failure for cocaine, a refusal, and the wild boar. That's a 12-year ban. Free charges, right? Liam Cameron got 4 years for a cocaine. 4 years for one.
Christ. Yeah.
So you tell me. But like I said, once you tell me a lie, anything else, it's no good to me. There's weak people like, aren't they? So whatever he says, I don't believe it. But they're not bothered anyway, because some people are just hard-faced. They don't care. They don't care. They just care about themselves. So can he fight? Yeah. Does he tell lies? Yeah. Is he bipolar? Probably. But I don't care. I just want to see Joshua and him fight. I want to see him and Wilder fight. But I just think that they've got him tied down now, where he's got to fight or never fight again. Or he's got to pay Wilder, and they won't do that. Or he's got to fight him. And I don't think he's in right frame of mind to fight him. So what they'll do, they'll hope that I don't think he'll fight, and I think that he'll hope that Wilder has to fight somebody else and probably gets beat or packs in or not, and then he might come back when landscape changes or when Wilder's got a bit more miles on clock, you know, kind of thing, and still have to fight.
Less risky.
Less risky then, isn't it? Yeah. So I think he's just going to take his son out of the equation. That's the COVID thing now. Everybody's blaming COVID for everything, aren't they?
Easy way out, isn't it?
Easy way out. I've got COVID. I'm self-isolating. All we've got to do because of this person in the team's caught it. And look, it's one thing to another, isn't it? Look, like I said before, and I'll keep repeating it. Once you tell a lie, you've got to tell another. You've got to keep it going. So now they've got to keep the COVID thing going now, haven't they? But I don't believe that. I don't believe it. All of a sudden, all of them caught that one.
No. Yeah, it's just. Do you know what it is as well? I think you said it before, Russ. Where, you know, when it was Fury or Tyson v Vladimir. Vladimir was working him out. The end of like 2 rounds of their fight, and he was working him out and knew what he was going to do in the next one. And I think Tyson knew his game's up against Vladimir. That's why he didn't dare face him.
Maybe.
Because he ain't stupid. Tyson did that. He ain't stupid. He's clever. They're clever, really. You got to think they're clever what they do and how they manipulate the media. They're good at it. Very good.
Well, what they do, you see, they pal everybody up, don't they? Who needs to be palled up, who's got platforms. It's a bit like Coogan Cassius, really, isn't it? I seen him do an interview with Coogan a couple of weeks ago, and they said, who was your best mates in boxing? And this is who he said: Eddie Hearn, Tyson Fury, Dave Allen, Dylan White, and Billy Joe. All of them do numbers on IFL. All of them. Tyson Fury, Billy Joe, Eddie Hearn. You know what I mean? Dylan White.
Yeah.
You know, Dave Allen. All them people do numbers. I didn't hear Coogan turn around and say Harry Matthews or Lee Purdy or Martin J. Ward. I didn't hear that.
That's that.
Yeah, that's it. So they all play the game. That's what they're all, the game players. Game players.
Yeah.
I didn't hear him say, oh, Josh Whale or Dennis Hobson or like that, because these people don't do numbers, do they? It's the people that do numbers that drive the sport. But you take them certain people off for IFL, they don't do as many numbers. No, sorry, they don't do much more numbers than what I do on the little people.
Yeah.
From, right? So, but
yeah.
All right then. Speaking of Billy Joe Saunders, what do you think about the whole situation with him now? I mean, what we're talking 2.5 months now since he fought, and we've still not seen any X-rays. He's still not done an interview. What do you think about it all, Max? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I was watching your one with Decker when he reckons he didn't quit. Well, he did quit. Look, he quit. That's it. Bottom line, he quit. He didn't get up and say, look, we looked at, I don't know, a month ago, the Lewis Ritson fight. Yeah, his dad threw the towel in, and he protested like hell. And the ref said, "Go on, then, off you go. Go on, fight on." Right? That's how a fighter protests, not just head down. And with Billy Joe now, the only fight for him, he needs Chris Eubank Jr. He needs him. He needs him more than Chris needs him now.
Yeah.
If that's a fight, but look, you don't dare fight him because it's what is it? It's going to be. He's going to have to look at it 2 ways. It's going to be my last payday because that's if he gets beat, and I believe Chris Eubank will beat him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I believe he will beat him now because I think he's got to the stage where he's. I think he's good enough. I mean, look, the split decision, the last fight. If it's a split decision, you go for the rematch. He didn't dare go for the rematch, did he, Billy Joe?
Well,
Yeah,
I'd like
no X-ray.
I'd like to. Yeah, there's no X-rays, is there?
That's what I mean. It goes on again. It's a lying. Again, the line. Eddie Hearn's in it. They're all pulled into it. NTK, they're all pulled in. All of them.
Cal Brook put his X-rays up, didn't he?
Yeah. Difference. It's just a constant circus with these guys, and and with Billy Joe, and do you know what it is? It's he's saying all this thing. I'll go out of my shield. This is why he can't say anything. The best thing for him is to be quiet, I think, because he knows he's properly messed up. The best thing he can do is apologise to Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
Because I'm not being funny. If someone like Joe Joyce, and let's be honest, the whispers about Joe Joyce around the heavyweight, there's not many people want to take him on. Don't dare take him on.
Frankenstein.
Yeah. But yeah.
Not that funny, Max.
I don't know. You do it.
Mate. Pull your tongue out of my arsehole.
No, when you do it in the car, you're like nearly taking like the main mirror off of that. You do. No. The point is that no one dare take Joyce on because obviously he's been sparking people out. So, you know, Daniel Barr did it. He had the balls to do it, and I believe, give it a few years on, Daniel could beat him.
Yeah.
So
what do you think about the Anthony Yarde situation? Is he going to fight Lyndon Arthur or is he going to bottle it? What do you think's happening there? It's dragging on that now, isn't it?
He's buying time, isn't he? I think he wants a couple of tune-ups or reassess himself, doesn't he?
Mm.
I mean, that's the only way for him. I mean, Lyndon Arthur, he's not great himself, is he, really? And Frank Warren hanged out of Anthony Yarde like he's the next best thing. You know what I mean? And he came and he was expected to beat Lyndon Arthur. It was just like the expectation.
Well,
you know what I mean? He was expected to beat Lyndon Arthur and obviously come unstuck.
Do you know what? The Anthony Yarde, he never won a 30-second block of the fight against Kovalev apart from end of one round ending when he caught him. If he'd have knocked him out then, I'm not being funny, but he would have pinched the world title there because the level he is at, he is probably English level. He's probably English level. He's got a bit of pop in his punches, but he's not Euro level, and I don't think he's British level either. I think he's now English stroke British level. I don't rate Anthony Yarde now. He looks the part and all that, and we were spoon-fed a lot of things about him, like he was going to be this next big roadman killer, but no, I'm not right. We're putting Lyndon Arthur beating me one hand, didn't he? Beating me a jab.
Yeah, I got disappointed. I was disappointed at that because you know how they pick up Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde was this and that, and you think, oh yeah, he looks good, and you know, and yeah, it was just disappointing. Lyndon Arthur's not great, you know. Yeah, it's disappointing. And this is the problem with Frank Warren. I think Frank Warren, he hasn't got as many fighters as Eddie Hearn, so he's limited what he's working with. You know,
He's what?
So he's limited to what he's working with. Obviously, so many fighters, and he's got to big up his better ones who are not as good. Again, he did the same with Daniel Dubois in a way. Expected him to beat Joe Joyce, then now he's got Joe Joyce on board with Scam Jones. You know what I mean? You know.
What do you think's going to happen with the situation with Alexander Usyk and the big dosser Anthony Joshua? Do you think that they're going to take that fight, or do you think that they're going to vacate? Do you think Sam Jones is going to do his job and issue legal letters regarding that, or do you think that he's too far up Warren's arse and Hearn's, trying to be friends with them both, and he's kind of like stuck in the middle?
Scam Jones, right? He needs to grow a pair because he needs to do right by Joe Joyce. I mean, look, I'm not being funny. Carlos Takam is hardly a fight I'd want to see. He's shot to bits, and you know he's over the hill. Was he 40? You know he's you know it's no good, and hardly a fight I want to see. Joe Joyce will destroy him, I think, in about 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah.
That's my take. Takam is a survivor. He's not. I mean, for God's sake, Del Boy took him out, and Del Boy was hardly great then. So why are we seeing this fight? And I think we deserve to see a proper matchup. So Scam Jones, he needs to push on with this because this WBO situation is ridiculous. And going with Joshua, I think Joshua would want the fight against Usyk to prove his worth, but I think all the people around him say, no, don't do that. I can tell that because, look, I rate Usyk, and as more times on and more times I've seen him, okay, then he hasn't got the knockout power as such, like a lot of people say, but I think that will come. That will come eventually. But he's a technician, a very good, and you've got to think he's had over 100 amateur fights. His amateur pedigree is very, very good. So I would say Usyk, like we bet with Mickey. I'm with you, Zach, on that every day, but they need to push on with it. Scam Jones needs to push on with it. Can't start hula hooping because at the end of the day, Joe Joyce is paying him a pot out of his purse each time or whatever to do a job.
Listen, mate, this is how I look at it. Sam Jones, he wants to be in bed with Frank Warren and in bed with Eddie Hearn. And they're just about money. They're not about friendship. But where Sam Jones is going wrong, he's supposed to go out there and go into bat for Joe Joyce. Now, has Sam Jones been given assurances that he will be looked after if he don't make any noise with WBO? Because what sort of advisor, consultant, or whatever, manager, whatever he is to Joe Joyce, what sort of advisor doesn't go into bat for his fighter? Because Joshua and Usyk's still not announced. So why isn't Sam Jones putting pressure on the WBO for his guy? Frankenstein. Why aren't you doing that? Why not?
Do you know what? I think he's afraid. This comes down to hula hooping, doesn't it?
Well, listen to this one. Okay, I'm sorry for butting. Listen to this. What business is Sam Jones in? He's in the Joe Joyce business, isn't he? So if I'm in the packaging business like SYPS, they pack for Coca-Cola, right? You know, you've been here, right? They pack for Coca-Cola. So SYPS are in the Coca-Cola business. So if they say we're doing this, we're doing that, we want this and want that done, these here or the other factory, they do that because that's the business they're in. Do you see where I'm coming from? Now, yeah. Sam Jones is in the Joe Joyce business. So he's supposed to do his best for Joe Joyce, not keep Frank Warren sweet and keep Eddie Hearn sweet because they're trying to make it all an undisputed. And if Joyce does fight, it'll just be for an interview because they want the main WBO belt to be shelved or for Fury and Joshua. No, he's in the Sam Jones is in the Joe Joyce business. For example, KFC, they sell chicken and chips, don't they? That's the business they're in. You're not going to go down to KFC one day and then say, oh, they don't want to sell, because they've had a rough night before. They'd get sacked, wouldn't they? So Jones needs to be sacked, or has he been told, look, just don't make any noise and we'll make sure you get looked after down the line. You've got a lot of fighters here, there and everywhere. You don't know what's going on, dear, but who's looking out for Joe Joyce? Because have you heard him talk? He's obviously, he's got about 2 brain cells in his head, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. To be fair, Russ, I think you're right. I think they have given him like a backhand promise to Sam Jones, and it's kind of relayed onto Joe. But if it was Joe, I'd be pushing. I'd want more because I think he's knocking on a bit, isn't he? He wants a world title belt. Was he 35, 36? Yeah. So I'd want that world title belt. I want that WBO and sanction it. Now, the only way to do it is to force that hand between Usyk and Joshua. If that don't happen, okay, I'll have it. I'll have the vacant one against Usyk. But Sam Jones is looking after number 1 here, isn't he?
Of course he is. Yeah, he's looking after number 1. He's in the Sam Jones business. There are too many of these people. They're not in the business what the fighters are in. I keep seeing these Steffi Bulls, Dave Caldwell, Sam Jones, people like that who annoy me. They're in the Steffi Bull's in the Steffi Bull business. He does what's best for Steffi Bull. He might preach that he does the best for Terry Harper, but if he was doing his best for Terry Harper, he'd put her in with Jonas, wouldn't he? They've been offered an headline fight on Sky, but he knocked it back. So these people do what's best for them. Dave Caldwell looks after Dave Caldwell. He'll make out he looks after Jordan Gill and blah, 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 but he's in the Dave Caldwell business. Sam Jones is in the Sam Jones business. Sam Jones's problem is he wants to be in bed with Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. Caldwell wants to be in bed with Eddie Hearn, so does Steffi Bull. They daren't mention Frank Warren's name. Sam Jones, he's in with both, and he's like, well, I'm in middle, I do my best for my fighter. He's not doing the best for his fighter, because if he were, he would serve papers on the WBO. The same goes for Dillian White. If he was in the proper Dillian White business, he would have sued the WBC if he were 3-year mandatory, but he was not 3-year mandatory. because I proved it, because I've got it up on my. He was ranked number 3. He weren't mandatory 3 years ago. So all this myth, this rumour that they started, it's what they started about him being mandatory 3 years. Load of rubbish. Dylan White said 2 years ago he was suing WBC. We're still waiting. Saying we're still waiting for it. Still waiting for his B sample.
Quite funny that Dylan White. It would serve the WBC if it was if Tyson Fury was 41. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Dylan White, the can man. Anybody who wants it can get it as long as they're over 40.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly right.
Spencer Fearon, aka Malcolm X.
God.
He's come out yet again on a trending story on the night England missed penalties, and he said that as soon as Rashford missed, he went in bedroom and hugged his wife and brought down crying because he knew what were coming. This man, there's no stopping this man's rubbish that comes out. Is there? Utter bullshit. What do you think? Well, keep talking.
You know what? Do you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who's worse. I don't know who's worse, him or Ben Davidson, on trending stories. Spencer Fearon. I don't know what goes through his head at night. It's now to do with him. Why is he getting involved with stuff like that, saying stuff like that? And why would you even say that? That's my point. Why would you even say that?
I don't know. All right then. Spencer Fearon, do you think he's a racist?
Yeah. He chooses to be. Yeah.
You think he makes everything about colour and race? I mean, for example, he keeps going on about that. There's not enough blacks in sports presenting and stuff like that. Is there black people?
Really?
He mentions things like that. Whereas, it's a touchy subject, and I don't like to go on about it. But he always brings race up. Now, whenever I have a problem with anything in my life, I never turn around and say, "Is it because I is white?"
Yeah. One second. Hold on 1 second. Do you want to come and sit down in there? I'll be quiet then. Come on then. Come on. Get your magazine. Get your courage. All right, sit down here then. Sorry, Russ. Come on, sit down there. You don't like being away from me. So yes, it's my little girl. Got her for the weekend. Yeah. So Spencer Fearon. The problem is with him. He does bring it up to way too much for my liking. I get he's passionate. I get the whole scenario, but like I've had it where I've accidentally shortchanged someone, and they turn around and say, because of my colour, it's no good. So it's you can't say stuff like that, and he does it too much.
I'm fed up of hearing about it's because it's people using race and using mental health. I'm fed up of it. What sort of generations are we breeding here? My grandma were in World War II, right? World War II. They used to fly over where I'm from. Germans used to fly over and bomb around here, mate. They bombed Sheffield. They destroyed it.
Yeah, destroyed it. Yeah.
And people never said, I went through World War II. I had mental health issues. People just rolled up the sleeves and got on with it.
Snowflake generation.
Yes. Somebody over there in traffic and something happened, and I went like that. Stuck 2 fingers up. Bloke nearly wiped me out, mate. Anyway, we got to traffic lights, weren't winded down here, we're getting all this. And I went, F off! Straight away, you know what I'm like, F off! And he went, oh, like that, is it? And then his missus went, yeah, I'm so offended that you've said the F word. And I went, F off again to him. And then I was burnt off. That's what I am. What you see is what you get. But people are so fucking offended. It's starting to annoy me. But Spencer Fearon, in my opinion, goes about his business preaching about race constantly. And he's part of the problem because he goes to these community areas where all these underprivileged people are that are probably black, most of them, or in these areas he goes to. And he is constantly preaching about it, constantly preaching about how the black man's badly done to her and all this, and I'm just fed up of hearing it. I'm just fed up of hearing about it.
Yeah.
I don't hear whites going on like this because I'm white. I didn't get a job. Carl Frost might not be working at Sky right now because they're all changing, so we don't know what's happening, right? But is he going to email them and say, Macklin, if you don't get back on, are they going to email Sky Top Brass and say, I can't believe you're not having us on. Is it because we're white? No, white people don't use that, do they? Well,
if Carl Fox was black, do you think he'd be on there now?
Yeah, Johnny Nelson got a job at Sky because he's black. The antidote. He got a job there because he's black. Everybody in boxing knew it. Johnny told everybody in Sheffield, so he can't backtrack on it. And it was Frank Warren that got him in there, mate. And they got him in there because he were black. That's the true story. And we shouldn't have to make it about race and all this Black Lives Matter shit. All lives matter. All lives
you know what
matter.
it is? They keep going on the back of when the slaves or what? Look, it's not our fault. It's like we're to blame for it, and it's like look like I directly done it. Sometimes, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, it's not. I didn't do it. You know what I mean? Just like treat everyone the same. Calm down. As it affects you directly, no. You know what I mean? And I get there's differences, but look, we're a multicultural country. We've got to accept it. Like Polish, English, whole lot. Accept it. And the problem is, Porks, people can't accept it, and we can't change it. So why do they go on about? I'm against. One thing I'm against, when football came into football, and they did like the knee, right? Why are we doing the knee? And you're made to knee. That's what I don't. I don't mind the actual subject so much, but it's when you're made to knee, made to do something. And I had started having respect for the people who refuse to knee, because you should be made to do something that you don't want to do.
All right then, look at it like this, right? Where's the fucking knee for Lee Rigby? Lee Rigby got murdered, didn't he, by two black men? Right.
Yeah.
Now,
not mentioned.
George Floyd got killed by a white copper. We're taking a knee for him, but he was a shithouse in real life, wasn't he? George Floyd.
Exactly.
Wasn't he supposed to be a shithouse? He'd done bad stuff and all that all his life. A bad guy. And we're taking a knee for somebody 4,000 miles away, but yet we can't take one for Lee Rigby. I don't get that, man.
Exactly.
I don't get it.
No good.
I don't get it. So
no,
anyway, all lives matter. Anyway, ALM, all lives matter. Okay, moving on. The boxer, I forgot his name. He said something racist in a tweet or something, and everybody's gone into meltdown over it. O'Hara Davies wants him kicked out of MTK. You know the guy that said that tweet or something. Yeah, did you hear about it? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about it. I didn't know what was the direct quote.
I forget now. It was somewhat racist. He said to another boxer. The point I want to make is, if he turns around and says his account got hacked, like Anthony Joshua when he said supposed to have said something, will it all be forgotten about? It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out, isn't it?
Yeah, it won't be forgotten, because people do hold grudges, though, don't they?
Yeah. Okay then. Enough about the adventures of Tintin. Old Spencer Phelan. Spencer, come see me.
That's never going to happen.
Now, Sheffield shows in Sheffield. I know I've given Dennis some stick. 2 seconds.
All right. Oh. Can you get me one?
I just like to put that on, because I know that people will take a little 20-second video and send it to Dennis on Twitter. How are you doing, Dennis? All right, mate. Still waiting for you to come on the channel. Still waiting for you to come on channel. They've still got pictures of Den up in office and that. Den's a character, isn't he? Me and Den outside his gaff there when I was fat as a pig in Jersey. Still waiting for Den to come on here and answer some real boxing questions, but you didn't come on, there, Dennis. I couldn't get rid of you when I was working for you. Now I want to ask you some proper boxing questions, like you wanted me to ask other people. We've gone up missing list, Den, but it is what it is. Okay, Sheffield show. Dennis is putting him on, so we've got to give him respect. We all know that, he's had about 30 debuts gone on in 9 shows or something, in last 9 shows, so round about that. All these are from white collar, nearly all of them. Do you feel that the influx of white collar fighters like yourself, people turning pro, is having a detrimental effect on boxing, and that moving forward somebody will get hurt? What do you think to that, Maxi?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it, on this one? Because I'm quite passionate, and I like to think I can handle myself. But no disrespect, I am on the white collar scene, heavily. However, is that it's not as regulated as the ABAs, where the proper amateurs, properly matched, coaches properly speak to each other. White collar, it's a money maker for charity. That's the reason why it's happened. And people come out the white collar, especially on the heavyweights, they will get hurt at some point. But it comes down to this, Russ. It comes down to the money. Money. And white collars, providing you have 5 or 6 bouts behind you and you've handed yourself, they'll put you through. The boxing board of trial, they'll put you through because they want to see people keep coming in, churning out, and it's a meat market, isn't it? Let's be honest. We know it's about the boxing board control, don't we? We know all about them. The video you did the other day, how much they make. So why not?
You mean the 900,000 pound that they had in the last 12 months for boxing board control? It's on company
exactly.
House. It's on company house if you go look, and they didn't pay any tax on over 900 grand. 18 grand a week border control spent last year on expenses alone. So they fly business class, they stop in nice hotels, everything's free gratis, and it needs stopping. But Sheffield shows, Dennis is putting him on, so good luck to him. But the Ingalls have had the hand in the cookie jar in boxing in Sheffield for 45 years, right? Maybe a touch longer. And do you feel that it's about time that they start putting shows on, because they've took enough out of the sport, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they should. And let's be honest, they've got enough in their artillery in their camps to put shows on. So why not? But I think it will turn out too much of organisation, maybe expense, maybe to put it on. I mean, Ingalls Riders big name and gym. You know what I mean? So why not? But they're not going to do that, are they?
Well, maybe when I see Dominic Ingle, I should bounce straight up to him and say, "You've got a lot to say for yourself in boxing, Dominic. When you're going to put some shows on? You've took enough out of the sport. When you're going to put something back into the sport?"
Flex Ingle.
Yeah, well, and if any of his fighters fail a 4th dope test, is he going to hand his license into border control?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Going to be interesting to see what happens, isn't it? Flex.
How many fighters does he? Supposedly haven't come back, and it's been brushed under the carpet. How many fighters now?
3.
3
dope tests.
I thought it was more than that.
Well, there might be some that are on gear up there, and they all know about it, but it's never been caught. We don't know, but if you've got 3 fighters in your gym failing dope tests, and you've admitted that you've been a bodybuilder and it passed, so obviously you're around what to put in your body and all that. So bad element up there. Let me tell you this: nobody's saying a word, are they? Why? Because there's an Ingle. Don't mean fuck all to me, mate. If you're cheating, get fucking gone out of sport, mate. Do one. Get out of Dodge. Consider it severance pay. Take the train, mate. Fuck off. As far as
I was reading the other day, Russ. What was it? It was the show's on America now. If you're tested, when you're tested now, cannabis is legal.
Where's that at? Oh, in America, Nevada. Oh, is it Nevada?
Yeah.
Oh, Bob Arum smokes weed, doesn't he?
Yeah, he knows all about that.
There's no wrong with smoking weed. Weed's from the earth, man.
yeah, but the point is, it's like, where do you stop with it? You could go from, like, what we might as well put cocaine in there. You've got to draw a line somewhere, don't you?
Can you imagine people fucking up fighting on cocaine? I mean, have you ever played snooker? I don't know if you've ever seen me play snooker. I used to play a bit of snooker back in the day, but some of the shots you'll go for on cocaine are like, wow, you wouldn't have gone for that, and it makes you more relaxed. And I don't know, mate, but the point I want to make is that if a fourth person fails a dope test on Dominic Ingall's watch up there at the Ingall lab, will he hand his license into the border control? Yes or no? I think he won't. I think he'll just batter archers down and say, I can't be responsible for fighters when they go home. And that's the easy cop-out they've got, isn't it?
Yeah, but you've got to be blamed a certain amount, because surely you see that fight. I mean, look, we saw in Joe Gallagher's gym. We were what? How long we were there? Hour and 3/4.
Yeah,
hour and
2 hours. Yeah, go on.
2 hours. Yeah. None of them. Well, there was about 10 of them in there. None of them stopped. Right. You're in there a lengthy time in that gym. Yeah. Okay. So you're going to see Joe will see most of those fighters most days of that week. Am I right? Okay. So you might have 1 day off, 2 days off. So you're going to see them 70-80% of the time. So you're going to know eventually their pattern and how they act. If you know your fighter inside out, if they're on something. So giving me that like, oh, I'm not responsible. You can tell if they're on something. You're not stupid, Dom.
Okay. We'll finish off on the Eddie Hearn reality TV program. You know, it's going to be filmed in here all day, every single day. Every single day from getting up to going to bed, they're going to film Eddie Hearn daily. Do you feel he's making it about him and not the fighters?
Absolutely. It's always been about him. You can tell when he's on blooming camera with IFL and stuff like that. He loves it. He loves it. Look, didn't he say that quote? I was like, I just want to be famous. Didn't he say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a typical. Well, not a typical. I'll tell you what. That show, Towie, it should suit that. That's what it suit. To go on something like that, and just your apple and pears, all that stuff. And being how he is, Jack the lad. Yeah, he's like what he's like 40, and he's like living like a 20-year-old. That's what he does.
What is he, 42?
42, yeah, and he's living like a 22-year-old. That's how he is, and he thinks he's still back in the day. But Eddie, stop putting on these daft fights. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been shot from Sky. That's what really happened.
If he were in jail and I were in jail, his dad would have to drop $1,000 a week off at an house around here, so that little Eddie didn't get terrorised in there. That's what I mean.
There's a difference, like obviously you give a lot of stick about Frank Warren and that, but I think he can generally handle prison, Frank Warren.
Frank could just be doing shoulder roll, wouldn't he? No,
but I think he'd be more resilient.
Shoulder roll, wouldn't he, Frank?
I think he'd be more resilient to it because he's had like a bit of a tough upbringing. Yeah, that's what I think. Whereas Eddie, he's had a silver spoon in his mouth from the day one when he came out of the womb. As soon as that umbilical cord.
Frank could be one fucking telling people in jail how much they're paying him.
Exactly.
So Frank could say, you want $1,000 a week off me? You give me $1,000 and I'll let you live. That's a Bricktop.
Exactly.
Bricktop's a real OG, is a G.
This is what I mean. So, there's a difference in promoters and, we give stick to Frank, but okay then, here's one for you, Russ. If you're a fighter and just say, I don't know, you're Ricky Hatton or I don't know, Campbell Hatton coming up and you weren't signed for Matchroom and you've got all these promoters, then Al Heyman, a few others, you've got Frank, Eddie, all after you, your signature, who would you go for?
Would you go for?
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking the question.
Ask me again. Well, what did you say?
So let's say you're Campbell Hatton, right? And you wasn't signed by Matchroom. And you had a name, you're up and coming, and you're set to turn pro. And
Campbell Hatton's dog shit, mate. He's dog shit.
Giving you an example.
Oh, yeah,
we know he's dog shit, right? and you haven't been signed by Matchroom, you just turned professional, and I know you're Ricky Hatton's son, and they want your signature. You've got Matchroom wanting to sign you. You've got BT, as in Frank Warren Queensbury signed it, Al Heyman, Bob Arum, Eddie Hills, the whole lot. Who would you go for?
If I were Campbell Hatton?
Yeah.
Matchroom.
Why?
Because I think that they're going to protect him, aren't they, and get him most money if I were him. Because, look, Campbell Hatton's a disaster waiting to happen. Eddie Hardy from Woodlands smashed him up in amateurs. Smashed him up, mate. Eddie Hardy from just down the road here. I forgot his second. John Loosemore used to play football with Kev.
I didn't know that.
John Loosemore trains him. Eddie Hardy is on my channel. Put Eddie Hardy into your computer and look at that kid when he came up here and he walked into the tournament, walked in and smashed this kid up in semi-finals at Big Wales. He won it that year. I think he won it 2-year-old shot. Is it CBGs or whatever they call it, that amateur thing? He smashed Campbell Hatton to bits, mate. But he never gets to mention. Never gets to mention, Eddie. So Campbell Hatton, if I were Campbell Hatton, best thing to do is go with Joshua, what he's done. They've done. Look, they've played it safe, haven't they, with him? Look, Eddie Hearn will protect him like they're doing Conor Benn. They'll have to swerve. They'll have to swerve all the domestic people to get into the big money fights. That's what they'll have to do. So don't expect Campbell Hatton to be picking any domestic belts. So expect them to go the trinket route.
Do you think he'll skip the levels like they've done with Conor Benn?
Like Anthony Yarde, Conor Benn. Yeah, of course he will. Yeah. What happened to Conor Benn when he skipped Yarde when he skipped the level? You don't just jump from area level to world level and think you can bridge the gap. Yarde got knocked out, didn't he?
Yeah. Nah. Totally agree.
Then he tried to fight at British level, and he got found out again, didn't he? Because he jumped them levels. Them levels are there for a reason. Just like we have weight divisions we have weight divisions, don't we? From flyweight up to light flyweight up to heavyweight, right? They're there for a reason because fighters are not superheroes. And within them weight divisions, we have levels like area level. I know I go on about it, but area level, English, British, Commonwealth, European, and World. There's 6 levels. Then there's a 7th level.
And you miss them all.
And you have elite. So you have to work out which one you're at. Billy Joe Saunders got found out at elite level, but world level, he was all right if he were matched correctly, right? But Anthony Yarde jumped all them levels, got found out. Conor Benn's done the same thing, and he was found out. And then they'll start coming out with things like, well, setbacks paved the way for comebacks, and even Ali got beat. But I just think that we have weight divisions and levels for a reason, and people should respect them. And people need to start respecting the British title.
Yeah, I agree.
It is what it is. But anything you like to add regarding your fight with Big Shane Fury before we part company today?
There's a few whispers, isn't there? We'll see, Russ. We'll see, mate. I mean, I'm getting obviously threats and that now and again, all over Insta, bit over Facey, phone calls, but it's one of them, isn't it? I think he's getting slowly a bit peed off with it, and he'll lean on Dad.
Well, look, Big Shane Fury's been offering people out for years, hasn't he? Chisora, he's offered out Dylan White's brother Dean, if it even is his brother, but he isn't. So anyhow, we haven't seen him have a fight yet, but he's got plenty to say for himself, hasn't he, at these press conferences. His dad's had plenty to say for himself in the last 18 months. But what I notice about when his dad does interviews, nobody mentions Mickey Theo to him. Why not? It's a big talking point. Why doesn't Andy Piru, a Boxing Social, mention Mickey Theo to John Fury in interviews? People need to tweet Boxing Social, Rob Tebbett, and say, why do you do John Fury interviews at your on your channel and nobody's asking him about Mickey Theo? Why?
Agree.
So, okay then. Well, listen, thanks for coming on, Max. It's been a pleasure. I know you've got your daughter today. It's nice to get a video in on a Sunday morning, so it's going up members area at 11 o'clock. All right, lad.
All right, thank you.
You take care. Have a great Sunday, and don't eat too much roast dinner.
I've got to be on it because Shane's getting it.
All right then, mate. You take care, Maxie.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Well, that was Maximilian Jenkins, or Maximus, whatever they call him. I just call him Mad Max with Volvo, the fucking heart of a breadcrumb. I think Shane smashes him to bits, but at least I'm honest with him, aren't I? You know what I mean? He's oh, okay, do you think so? I say, yeah, Shane will smash you up, you fuck all. But he's a lump, so that's that. I'm a sod, aren't I? So peace out. Keep on trucking. Keep supporting boxing. Don't have nightmares. Peace out.